Absolute Superman returns for what should be another fire issue, and the Amazing Spider-Man is still dying. He's still got deaths in him somehow, and Doctor Doom is loving every single bit of it. This week in comics is going to be absolutely incredible, and that's why we are here to preview it for you on Pals Previews. Before we get into all of the books that we're going to be taking a look at through League of Comic Geeks, what we want to do is let you know the books that we are going to be reviewing on Pals Pulls this week. These are the books that you can expect to hear extended conversations about from us this Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Absolute Superman #5, Aquaman #3, Assorted Crisis Events #1, which is a new Dennis Camp indie title, so that's exciting, and Geiger #12. If that doesn't sound like enough books to you, it's because this week we are going to be taking the two most voted books in the Pals Pulls poll and adding them both to the docket. So that's more incentive to vote, more influence on the show for you guys. But as far as what's making Pals Pulls, what are you most excited about?
A sort of crisis event for me. Dennis Camp, like I love Absolute Superman, but I want to see Dennis Camp post his work on Ultimates tackle something creator owned. Not that his time on Ultimates is over; it's still happening. But now that it's a name for me, and I understand his writing style, and I understand his POV, I understand him as a person to an extent. Seeing what he can do in the creator owned space from that lens is exciting to me.
Yeah, that'll be the same for me, especially out of all these picks. The Seeing some a creator go from a smash of a big two book to an indie is always gets me hyped.
Gotta shout out my boy Aquaman. I haven't been on board, but I want to like this series. I genuinely want to. Adam's work on Green Lantern has been phenomenal for me, and I know he can write. So I feel like I just need to give him time, and hopefully three's start of that progress.
Marco getting wet for Aquaman. You heard it here first, folks.
Hey,
Wow.
For me, it's again assorted crisis events. This is the book that I believe will be my pick of the week. Dennis Camp writes in a way that really speaks to me, and this is an all new idea and concept, whereas everything else is kind of familiar ground. And for that to come from a creator whose worldview I really respect and enjoy, I can't imagine, unless this is bad, I can't imagine how it's not going to be my pick of the week.
Even then, like I can't imagine it being bad.
Exactly. Exactly.
And the artist on sort of crisis events, that's Eric Zawadsky. I'm unfamiliar with, but just doing a quick cursory glance at his work, yeah, I'm in. I think this could be some really interesting stuff. Insert preview images here, just so you can enjoy that art. But I think I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely encourage people to pick this up, especially if you want to be in the loop when we review it this Thursday. It's a book about a crisis in time. And I think that name, The Assorted Crisis Events, is probably tongue in cheek in reference to, the crisis of comics and at DC. It seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to dive into this. But I mentioned that you guys would be able to to get two books on the show this week, and I think you've got some pretty good options. So on the poll right now, we have X-Men #13, which is part 4 or something like that of the X-Men Hunt series. We've got Transformers #18. There was a big development in Transformers land. We won't spoil it here, but this book has definitely become a lot more must read. Green Lantern Corps #2, which you guys seem to be excited about. This is the book that has all the lanterns in it, and then of course Batman Dark Patterns #4. That is leading the poll right now. No surprise, this book has been great. Two of these books will make the list. You tell us which ones I should say.
you know what? Leave the poll as it is. Keep voting for the two books that we got at top because those are the exact ones that I want to read. Dark Patterns, the first arc, phenomenal, and I loved the first issue of Green Lantern Corps. So just keep it coming.
That's the Sinestro one, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
it's
he's in.
good.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
good.
nah, that shit was cool, man. That was a good moment.
And the cover for this physically is there's a physical cover that's it's got a clear part in it. So if you flip it, if you look at the cover, it's got like a Kilowog drawing where Guy Gardner's drawn on it, but that part's clear, the mustache part. So if you flip it over, it's just the Kilowog
No.
kind of recruitment poster. Jeremy
you
Adams
see-
showed it on his Instagram or social media somewhere. So for you physical people out there, that might be a cool cover to pick up.
Yo, DC's getting me through the door, man.
Shame we'll never get covers like that with all these tariffs going on.
Yep, enjoy while you last.
Speaking of enjoying, Void Rivals has been a blast so far. It doesn't get a lot of chatter anymore, I feel like. It started off really hot. People don't talk about it as much, but boy, if this book isn't great. I enjoy every issue I read. I kind of wait a few issues and fall back on it deliberately to binge it. It just feels better that way to me for some reason, but it is a blast. You've got Transformers in it. They are there. But then you've also got these original characters who aren't tethered to any particular like big corporate ideas. And so Kirkman can do what he wants, and that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, the personalities that were in the first couple issues of Void Rivals that we did on the show, that was the last time I read it, but I really enjoyed the dynamic between them. I know one of the main characters has like a robot hand that's like his sidekick or whatever. He was great. So I can only imagine with Kirkman that a character like that would be tremendous.
A lot of twists and turns to it. It's a fun book.
They at Toy Fair this past 2 weekends ago or past weekends, they revealed a Road Rivals action figure that comes with a Transformer. I think it's a
Whoa.
Hasbro Pulse exclusive. It's like they're scaled to be small, next to I forget which Transformer they're with, but the one from the comic. So they did pull the trigger on that. So that's fun.
I love it.
Do you mind if I actually shout out, speaking of Transformers number 18? I know it's on the poll, but I caught up. I saw the people in the chat. I think Lucas Holner, big fan. So seeing all the listeners in the chat, get to it. I was going to get to it eventually, but I'm finally caught up to speed. Yeah, that's damn good. I don't want to give spoilers out. Sean mentioned, a big thing happened previously. I don't think it's the same big thing I'm thinking of. There's two huge things that happened. The only thing I will say is that Daniel Warren Johnson is finally solidifying himself in Transformers lore. Take that for what you will.
Oh yeah.
But there's some exciting stuff that happened in it, and it's a lot of fun.
Are you hold on? Are you saying that he's in the book now? He
No,
drew
I'm
himself
saying
into the
he's
fucking book?
put his imprint in it, in lore.
He's probably in there.
He might be.
Somewhere.
Somewhere.
I will say
Yeah.
Seattle got kind of screwed up in that book. The Autobots are on the back foot. Decepticons they got like Starscream's side, and then you have Soundwave, and they're kind of fighting with the other, Decepticons, and there's some infighting there, which has just left Earth and like the Pacific Northwest in shambles, with Optimus Prime and the remaining Autobots he has left trying to pick up the pieces, and it's just really, really good stuff. And it just looks great with Jorge Corona doing some great work on
Or
it.
hey, Corona.
Shout out to all new Venom number 4. I am gonna catch up on. I'm gonna read the third issue later tonight, but it's a series that has surprised me. Al Ewing, Carlos Gomez, and I'm locked in, guys. I'm locked in. Paul will be revealed. Just give it some time. I'm on the bandwagon, or in the cuck chair, as it were.
I'm
Wait.
with you. I'm with you. And this one deals with MODOK, and it's Al Ewing just having fun. It's not
Yeah.
Resurrection of Magneto. It's not his Defender stuff. Like, this is really bare bones and just goofy, and it's a lot of fun because of that.
I wanted to bring up Hellhunters because number 4 is coming out.
Yeah.
And this is one where I kind of I dropped this. And I dropped it after the first issue. And it was because I felt like the first issue just didn't do enough or include enough interesting material for me to want to stick around. Like, it didn't feel like it lived up to the promise of all these cool characters coming together. There was a lot of buildup. And so I dropped it at issue 1. But I am feeling FOMO. I am feeling like I shouldn't have dropped it, and like it might end up actually being pretty good. Tyler, are you any further along?
I'm up to speed on it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm enjoying it. It really is like, uh, um, oh geez, why am I forgetting the writer's name? He's been on the show plenty. Worked on Warworld.
Phil Kennedy
Sabella?
Johnson.
Yeah, PKJ. Yeah, I was forgetting the PKJ of it all. I kept thinking Paul Thomas Anderson. That's film. Um, but it's a lot of fun. It really is just like, hey, let's go kill some Nazis. Oh, these are demon Nazis. Okay, let's just kill those guys too. And it shows. We talked about Bucky, his history being rewritten as kind of a cutthroat in Brubaker's run.
Mm.
And PKJ is kind of tackling that here too. He introduced Bucky last issue, and he's a bit of a rebel rouser. He's a bit of a loose cannon, and it's a lot of fun to see that here. It's Bucky, it's Peggy Carter, Nick Fury before the eye patch, Wolverine, and PKJ's Ghost Rider on the Harley. It's good stuff. Just killing Nazis. Like right towards the tail end of World War II, like we're almost beating them, but we're not quite there yet. So it's just a good period piece that is just full of cool violence.
Sounds so fun. Did you agree? Do you agree at all that the first issue was a little slower, maybe not the best representation of the series, or
Yeah, because it had to build the story of what the demons were.
right.
Now that we know who they are, it's just wanton just destruction happening across Europe, and they're reacting to it.
Okay.
Quick shout out to Alien Paradiso, number 4. Big fan of this series, and any kind of Alien series that comes out. Steve Fox's thing is doing really good work. It's not hard to do horror in comics, I don't think, but it is when the monster is kind of stalking, right? Like the page turns have to be really effective, and I think that that's written out really well. And then Edgar Salazar on the art front is doing a great job of representing not only those scary moments, but like the violence of this. This is a consistent pull. This is a lot of fun. Highly recommend to anybody who wants that horror flair. And they're killing millionaires, billionaires. It's a whole resort planet. Fuck them.
Good, sold. I'm in. Can I scroll up a bit? I want to talk about Phoenix. I'm up to date on Phoenix. It's by it's Outer Space Jean Grey, which Sean didn't much care for when it was happening. But it is kind of turned into Marvel's cosmic book right now, or Marvel's space book. And it's right now she's teaming up with Rocket Raccoon and Richard Rider Nova, and they're dealing with the idea of that this Phoenix Force has kind of been fractured between Jean Grey and another new character in this. So she's a little depowered. Somebody else has a bit of the Phoenix Force. How does she get created into something new? In the last issue, she kind of got rebirthed in a new way with a new costume. It's much more cosmic influenced. And I think it's really interesting. I like how they're building up her supporting cast. Like it's almost Guardians of the Galaxy without the Guardians of the Galaxy in a way. Does it feel like an X-Men book? No, it feels like a space book. So I think if you go in with that mindset that it's part of the X-Men line, you're not going to be too big of a fan. Like Cyclops has not showed up in a long time. I know they did like that whole telepathic meetups they would do. He's a non-factor in this. It really is Jean in space. And I just like how it really is just the story of Jean and her relationship with the Phoenix, and that she cannot escape the history of the Phoenix, good or bad. And it's her kind of coming to terms with that. And it's really interesting. They're dealing with the Black Order and the dark side of the moon where the Inhumans were, which is where the trial for the Dark Phoenix happened during Claremont's run. So it's real inside. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. I recommend it.
Witchblade #9 is coming out, and that is not a book that you'll hear much about on this channel. However, the reason why I am shouting it out is because in this issue, she is dealing with Jackie Estacado. And if that name doesn't mean anything to you, I'm talking about the Darkness. I love the Darkness. I love Witchblade. Witchblade had a TV show, if you remember that, back in the day, and I used to love that. And the Darkness had a really great video game somehow, some way. So I'm excited to see these two characters link up. I will be picking this series back up. I didn't love the first issue, but I do want to come back because I really like the Darkness. And Marguerite Bennett is a solid writer, so there has to be something here. I'm going to give it a shot.
I'm gonna do Nick Fury versus Fin Fang Foom.
I was hoping someone would.
It may be an obvious pick for me, I think, but I love Nick Fury. I love Fin Fang Foom. You know what? I like J. Michael Straczynski. I haven't been terribly impressed with these little one shots. The first one I think was Rocket Raccoon and Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
Just these little nonsense stories, but this one has me. It's Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos, literally versus Fin Fang Foom. Oh, what else are these guys doing? Let's see what's up.
Hey, and you know what? Elena Casagrande on art. That don't hurt.
Oh, hey, there. Nice. Oh, yeah.
Fin Fang Foom's always cool when he shows up. He shows up in Fin Fang Foom is just a cool character when he shows up. I think of Next Wave. When they get stuck in his shorts. He better be wearing the purple shorts. Not any of that Iron Man Director or Shield stuff where he was just a dragon. No, he needs to be wearing the shorts.
I don't see the shorts in the on the Gary Frank cover.
Yeah, I know. Gary Frank's doing all these covers.
Saw that, yeah.
Wild.
Maybe it'll be in the previews. It's got to be. Unless he didn't get the shorts yet in this period of time because it looks like it's during...
Shorts hadn't been invented yet.
Yeah, it's true. We just had knickerbockers, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Any more shout outs before we move forward?
Kind of a light week for me, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So none for me.
I have one more. It's Dark Pyramid. This is a Mad Cave book. Paul Tobin is a writer that I like. He's done Bunny Mask, which was an Aftershock series, kind of a horror, mystery horror thing, and then also A Calculated Man, story of a mathematical assassin, another Aftershock book. But he gets the chance to work with cool artists, and in this case, he's working with PJ Holden for this series, who the String Bags with Garth Ennis of was a previous book he's done, and Mad Cave tends to put out interesting titles every once in a while, and this combination of creators plus the cover, this large looming force feels interesting. So I'm down to check it out. I'll always support a Tobin and or a smaller press book if I can.
I always want to give these books a shot on Pals Pulls, but I'm like, are we even going to be able to get it?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, and also sometimes it's hard to gauge, where they're at in the writing or the art.
Yeah, exactly.
Chainsaw Man's still coming out. 196.
Oh yeah.
We're on the road to 200. 200. That's when I clock back in, baby. You gonna lose me for 100 chapters.
Nobody's excited for Coffin Comics' Lady Death Eternal Sabbath #1?
Hold on, let me check the covers.
I can't put them on the show, Sean. This is a section of comics that I've just never been a part of. The Lady Death section. I think of Evil Ernie and stuff like it's been around for decades as a property. And it's just so not my vibe. But it's still being published. People are buying it.
People are buying it. There's a Swamp Thing facsimile edition that I'm thinking about getting. That's about it.
Don't fall for that, Marco. Come on,
dude.
It's not the real thing. It's not the real thing. It's colored different.
And that's what I want to see. I want to see how off the color is.
I want to see how bad it is.
Well, just like what the difference is, like what were the choices made? If anyone in the Discord, I recently shouted out for International Women's Day, Tejana Wood, the colorist on the series. I'm
Mm.
just curious because they've been doing this for a lot of old series and like restoring, but it just gives it a different feel, a different flavor.
Marco, you're curious, but are you 6.99 curious?
Bro, I didn't know it was that. No, this is 3.99.
Oh, I don't. Maybe I have the wrong
It's
thing. I'm
showing
looking
six
at
ninety
it.
nine on Legal Comic Geeks.
Yeah, that's what I see.
I don't know.
Oh,
Uh,
oh, oh, I see. That's the foil variant. Okay,
Okay,
gotcha.
okay,
Oh,
yo,
okay, I got it. I
chill,
got it. I
chill,
got it.
chill.
Mark, you could just use that money towards Death of Copra #1. You ever read Copra, Michael Fife stuff?
No, I think
It's
I
essentially
have some stuff.
yeah, it's essentially Fife doing his own Suicide Squad
Yeah,
in the vein
I
of like
haven't
that
read it.
original kind of run.
I
am
had
I
the first volume.
am I crazy, or is this supposed to be the end of it too? Like
It
it's been a
is.
long running, or is this a different thing?
No, this is the end of it. Yeah, yeah. You're right. It's been long running since like early 2000s.
Yeah.
Before like the
And it's
movies of Suicide Squad, before it was like a well known thing.
there was a long hiatus, and he came back and was like, "Nah, this is it. This is my last thing."
Hmm.
And yeah, this is it.
Didn't you
That's
give out
it.
a signed copy of Copra at the trivia that I ran at a brewery?
I did, yeah. He used to frequent the shop I used to go to in the city, and I bumped into him one day, and he was there just like picking out comics, and the owner was like, "Yo, that's that's him." I'm like, "Oh shit!" I'm like, "Hey, I just bought this. You mind?" He's like, "Oh yeah, for sure. Cool guy.
Yeah,
Chill."
I think my brother has it now. Thanks.
I have a we can keep chatting, but I have a drawing from him, I think.
Michael Five
Yes.
is a very interesting artist. Oh, a Swamp Thing. Yeah,
Ooh.
cool. I dig
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And then this is Hack from Robert Hack.
Oh, great. Did Sabrina,
Wow.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's funny that Marco had that shit on deck.
Of course he does.
It's right here with me, dude.
And I was like, how is that possible? But it's a swamp thing, so
Yeah.
that's why it's
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I get the blank covers all the time.
Do you think it's sacrilegious that you get Swamp Thing in print because it's just pulped trees? Do you think the Green would approve?
He wouldn't.
No.
Speaking of Marco, though, Marco is going to take the spotlight. Shout out a
Well,
book that he's excited to talk to you about. So why don't you go ahead, Marco?
Yeah, so I've been reading Radiant Black actually, and uh, there's obviously been a lot of buzz. It's coming back, or it has come back from a short hiatus, and um, we recently got the deluxe hardcover from Image, so I downloaded it, and I remember we were reading this month to month, and this reads so much better in trade. I feel like the what I remember about the book and the characters and the moments felt like I've seen this stuff before, and or like it felt like a bit run of the mill. I didn't feel like I had time to sit with each issue, but with this, because it is collected and it's happening over the course um a couple hours as opposed to or months, the flow feels better, the writing feels better, the art feels stronger, and the big moments and the big reveals also I feel are more impactful. So I'm having a lot of fun. I'm about 180 pages into this, 460 total. It's a huge thing. I think it covers up to like issue 17 or 18. Um, and then from there, I'm going to try to start to get the trades that um, that Image sends us. But I'm impressed so far.
Marco's like, I'm trying to get yeah, I'm really invested. I'm going to get the stuff that I get for free.
Hey, easy, easy. It is to be fair. There's some graininess and pixelation on the art, but you know what? Hey,
Yeah, that's the preview copies aren't the best quality, but yeah.
yeah.
Does this make you want to read the secondary titles like Rogue Sun?
Not yet. Not yet because I like this so far, but no, not yet. I want to get a little deeper into it. I wanna feel a bit more, I think, and then I might decide whether or not it's worth it to go into like Rogue Sun, and I forgot what the other ones are.
Like Inferno Girl Red, I think is one of
Yeah,
them.
something like that. Yeah.
feel like those were, I mean, barely connected.
Initially,
it-
maybe.
Yeah, and that was some of the point, but like they were so disconnected that it didn't feel interesting enough.
They were ancillary, but I'm waiting for like the crossover, right? So that I
Which
can
happened.
see
Yeah.
how it feels.
Didn't it happen with like
Who
the
was-
massive verse #1 crossover super giant
Yeah,
size
something like
thing?
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Who was here when we did the review? Because they've done a few crossovers by now, but there was one that they did a couple years ago that included a whole bunch of those characters, and I don't remember the context for the issue. I want to say Cale was there at least, but I remember thinking like, who cares? This is too much. There's too many people here. Like,
Mm.
what do I do with this?
And I think coming off the heels of like trying to get into the series, which we didn't like that much anyway. I definitely didn't like. I was very harsh on it, and I think because I had such and you know, I had really high expectations for it. Um, I constantly, the stuff I hear about this book constantly makes me feel like I'm gonna read this again someday, and I'm gonna eat my words.
It's catching me by surprise.
There's buzz around it like crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I would say, Kale, give it a shot. I'll send you the file. Give it a shot.
He has access to it, Marco.
Well, it was a pain in the ass to find, to be honest. Like,
Okay, all right.
it was the old email. It was the whole thing.
Oh man, I don't have time.
All right, well then.
Like, I'm about to. I just said it. I'm about to drop, you know, $1 million on 100 chapters of Chainsaw Man. I don't have the time.
Let's get the
I don't
app.
even have the time for that.
Let's get the app.
Marco, send that through. I bought the most recent issue of Radiant Black and I want to read it, but now I'm like, shit, I should go back. So send that
Okay.
through. Maybe I'll suffer the digital readership to give it a shot.
It's gonna be biased because it's pixely.
Did I send you an iPad?
You have a spare?
I can
did-
get an iPad. I just
It's an old
want
one, but
Like, what am I gonna do with it? That's the thing.
read comics.
Read comics.
But I read comics every day. But
Play
they're physical.
Marvel Snap on it.
No, I got this.
Oh, it's better on an iPad, dude.
Well, Marco, thank you for your thoughts on Radiant Black. I appreciate that. And I'm sure that there are people in our audience because every time we bring this book up, there are people who have something to say. So, an endorsement from Marco on Radiant Black. That's great.
Yeah.
No. Happy to hear it, frankly.
Yeah. If you want to hear what books we're going to be endorsing this week, our thoughts, our extended thoughts on the books that will make the docket for Palaspools, you got to tune in 6 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. We are going to have a blast talking about all these comics, and you know we get up to shenanigans over there on that show. So make sure you tune in for all that fun stuff. We will see you then. Until then, take care, guys.
See you next week.